selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
Welcome to the IPA Champions Cup, live on Sporty Stuff TV. A warm welcome to our host, Kelly Scott.
Good afternoon and welcome to day 2 of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. Coming live from the Pride Media Centre here in Gateshead every Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon and evening. Now yesterday, day 1 saw Ross Fernie, the Riot, take a place in our top 16. But who is going to join them today? Joining me now is our resident expert, Mark Pickworth. Mark, what have we got to look forward to today with our players?
Well, I think with the players today, we're going to have a difference in contrast to styles, very much difference from yesterday. We've got Andy Blurton, who's going to be very methodical. Andy Croasdale is going to be very fluent in natural talent. And then we've got the young and exciting Nathan Davies. And then, of course, Jamie Clarke, and finally, not but not least, he's going to be very chilled and very relaxed.
And now they've got very different kind of temperaments, I believe, but also the names are possibly some of the best names we've got. So we've got Ivan Drago, Crowe, Dynamite and the Shark. So I like the names. Do you think that helps them having dramatic names?
Oh, definitely. It just gives it a different edge to the game, definitely.
Definitely. Well, why don't I think we find out? Let's meet our first player.
Introducing the number 17th ranked player on the IPA Tour, the 2017 British Championship finalist. He's known to his fans as Ivan Drago. It's Andy Blurton.
Good afternoon, Andy, or should I say Ivan Drago. I love the Rocky film, so this is one of my favourite names. So how did you get that name?
It's what all my local teammates call me. It goes back to the old county and Super League days when, it's just got that nickname from there.
Do you ever say that to the players? I will break you, like he did.
All the time.
And have you managed to have quite a bit of practice during lockdown? Because it's a bit weird, obviously a lot of clubs closing. Have you been able to get in enough for this tournament?
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. I've got a table at home. So I've been playing quite a bit at home, but it's no substitute for tournament play. So it's been a while since I've played a tournament. So I don't really know how the form is, but I'm just going to try and enjoy it.
And obviously we're live on TV right now. Who have you got supporting you today?
Got a few people back at home. Hopefully if I get through to tonight, there'll be a few more.
I like that confidence. Oh, well, thanks so much. You want to take a seat and best of luck. OK, so we've got Ivan Drago already taken a seat, but who is he facing? Let's meet player number 2.
The table, a 3-time European champion and former under-21 champion of the world. It's Crowe, Andy Croasdale.
I love the strut coming out.
Thank you.
It's like you've done this kind of thing before, like kind of catwalk. Now, when was your last tournament or your last match? Has it been a while?
Yeah, about 18 months ago. So yeah, it's been a long time. Good to be back.
Yeah, does that make you more nervous, or is it just more you just can't wait to get going?
Can't wait to get going, to be honest. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And did you manage to watch any of the footage yesterday? Did you see any of the games?
Yes, did. The table looks lightning. It looks really fast.
So has that kind of helped you think of how you're possibly going to attack today?
Yeah, yeah, just a little, yeah. I'll be playing everything just a bit slower.
And now, if you were to win this tournament, what would it mean to you?
Yeah, it'd mean a great deal, yeah. A long time since I've won a tournament.
OK, well, who knows? Today could be your lucky day to get through. Thanks so much. Why don't you take a seat? OK, we have both players in place now, so let's go to our commentary box. And we've got Dan Fairway joined with Mark Pickworth.
Thank you, Kelly. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Pride Media Centre in Gateshead for this first round match. It's the Battle of the Andes, Blurton versus Croasdale, and I am joined in the commentary box by our resident expert, Mark Pickworth. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Dan. How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. Hot-footed it back from the day job to get into the commentary box once again.
Oh, great stuff, great stuff.
So you've been giving us your pickers' picks, if you like. Who do you pick for this match?
Well, I've predicted already, of course, because that's my job. I've gone for Andy Blurton. I think this is still going to be a very close battle. I'm going to go for a 6-5 today. We could have a bit of dramaticness. I'm predicting that as well.
Yeah, I've been looking through the draw in my downtime because, really interesting life I lead. And actually, I think this is probably the most evenly matched day we've got. I think there's no real runaway favourite today. I think any of these four players is in with a great chance.
Yeah, definitely. And, just like I said in my intro, we've got a different contrast of styles here. And it's just about which contrast sort of develops the best for throughout this day.
Well, we've got Andy Blurton, a.k.a. Ivan Drago, to start us off with. And what an opportunity he's got first up. Couldn't ask for a better split to start you off, really.
No, it's just like the yellows have given up on this frame, haven't they? Really have. Andy should really go about his work very sort of steadily. He's, like I've already said, he's very methodical about some of his finishes.
Yeah, they won't be the first thing to have given up against Drago.
We're bringing up Rocky Balboa now, are we?
Oh, we've got to, haven't we? Surely.
Definitely. The only thing missing is the Rocky Balboa music. That's about it, isn't it?
Oh, cue ball needs to slow down. That's gone wrong.
And straight away we'll probably see, the table has probably caught out our first player.
Well, it's something we saw yesterday, and I think it's something that our winner from yesterday, Ross Fernie, I think he was the quickest to adapt to the table, and I think he adapted to the speed of it the best, and I think that's why he won. So Andy Blurton here needs to adapt to this table fast, because if Andy Croasdale comes to the table and feels immediately comfortable with it, then we could see a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, because this shot here is very delicate, and just trying to hold this on this base, it could be quite difficult. So let's just see how he really sort of adapts to this now. And is it just going to run on this? He's going to have a shot at this, but again, the white's going to be on the move.
Well, that red just clipped the near knuckle on its way into the left centre pocket, but did manage to drop. Gravity just about doing the work for Andy Blurton there. But this is a very thin cut back to the bottom right corner. Tough shot. And it's a little bit too tough. So it's Crowe to the table, Andy Croasdale. Now we've seen how Andy Blurton approaches his finishes. Andy Croasdale is somewhat of a different style, a lot quicker, a lot more fluid, you would say?
Yeah, as I said, fluent and, a bit more, not being unfair to Andy, but a bit more natural. Andy Blurton, his more methodical sort of style. But yeah, I'm sure the viewers that are watching will definitely see the difference in contrast.
Now, we can obviously see Andy's first and only problem really here on the table is that Andy Blurton has covered that bottom right pocket with that red. So it looks like Andy's going to play safe and try and force the mistake out of Andy Blurton.
Yeah, and the problem about this, it might only just be just about and get the one cushion escape. But can he get the white ball out of the jaws? He could follow it through here. He's got to be really careful.
Yeah, doesn't want a full ball contact on the red. Oh, that was mighty close.
Shot, one visit. Time running.
But it is a foul, and that will give Andy Croasdale the chance to take this first frame. And it's a chance you'd fully expect him to take. He can play yellow onto red now. And then all those yellows will be sat very pretty for him.
It's just about how he's going to adapt to the speed of this table now, but you don't sort of foresee any problems there. But then again, we never foresee any problems on Andy's first attempt to clear the table. So let's just see how he goes about this work here.
Yeah, we should perhaps explain the rule that allowed Andy Croasdale to play that last shot as well. Because he forced the mistake from Andy Blurton. He forced him into a foul. After a foul, you get one free shot to do what you like, hit what you like, and to a certain extent, pop what you like, except the black if it's early, of course. And then you continue on with your visit. So there's no carrying over of shots, nothing like that. These are black ball rules.
Yeah, and it's very important that we tell the audience that, you know, it's not just like the normal pub game where, you know, when they get the 2 shots, they just continue forever, don't they? So, and just like some of the different rule sets where the 2 shots continue.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one of those strange games where there's so many different rule sets around. You know, it can almost change from town to town and from pub to pub. I think each pub across the country has had its own set of rules at one time or another.
Oh, but definitely.
Are the professional set. And it's Andy Croasdale with this slightly tricky little black into the centre. But he makes it just about and takes a 1-frame lead. And we will continue with this match after this short break.
Frame 2. Andy Croasdale.
Welcome back to the IPA Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. This is our first round match between Andy Blurton and Andy Croasdale. And it's Andy Croasdale to break in the second frame.
There's a white.
Foul.
Well, that is an unfortunate in-off
Time running.
for Crowe, as he's known. Offers up a chance for Ivan Drago, Andy Blurton, to atone for that positional error in the first frame. I think for me, Mark, this is exactly the sort of chance that Andy Blurton needs. He will be a little on edge, perhaps, after that mistake in the first frame. And this gives him a chance to settle his nerves and just gives him a few more shots at this table and to learn the speed of it.
Yeah, you're really right there, Dan. You know, because you know, this will be a chance now to put that mistake behind him and just get this match, you know, get it back to where it should be.
Yeah, it's a glorious chance on reds. It would have been a decent chance on yellows as well, to be fair. It's a great break from Andy Croasdale, and he might feel a little aggrieved that he's gone in off. He won't have expected to got out of his seat in the first frame, though, so he'll still be hoping that Andy hasn't quite worked out the table yet. I think the tricky red to get on for me is the one in the centre of the table towards the bottom end.
Yeah.
Just got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just depend on how much of he can pot it into the right corner, or, you know, he could drop that ball in the right corner and then play the plant. But, you know, I don't like playing balls onto balls because they can sort of go wrong, and especially on this fast cloth.
Yeah, it's just the yellow near that ball for me is just creating potentially a little bit of a problem. He's okay as long as he lands near enough straight on the one near the bottom left corner pocket.
Oh, God.
Wow, that is a horror miss from Andy Blurton. Let's have a look at that again. Oh, I can't believe that, Mark.
I'm flabbergasted. I really am. He's just not settled yet, has he? And maybe that first shot, you know, the first clearance which he should have got, you know, he'd probably got all day long at his local club or at home, you know, where he's got his own table. But we're talking about different conditions here, Dan, aren't we? It's just completely different for the players.
We certainly are, but based on that long yellow down the cushion, Andy Croasdale certainly has settled into this. That was a lovely shot to start this visit. And he's just chosen to clear that pocket at the same time as potting his yellow. The yellow closest to the cue ball. Now, where does that go?
They definitely don't go into the left middle.
To the right?
They definitely got to go in the left middle. Is he going to try and get into it here? This is a big shot. No. I'm not sure about that one, Dan. I'd have probably left that ball there to try and get that out at a later stage, possibly.
Yeah, I think he could have left the ball he's just potted and potentially tried to give himself an angle to get on that difficult yellow to the right centre. But it'll be interesting to see how he chooses to work that out now.
Yeah, but like you said, it does go in the right middle, doesn't it? It goes in that right middle, so hopefully we'll have to travel down there at some time. And is this the time, you know? It's a delicate shot though, Dan.
It's a very delicate shot, Mark, but he's going to put all his eggs in one basket here.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got much choice. Now, does he play into this or does he try to drop onto it?
You just rely on luck though if you go into him. Yeah, we'll just see how he wants to play it. Up and down and behind the red. He's gone into it and it's come out pretty well.
I don't think he could have asked for a lot more than that.
No.
It's a terrific shot from Andy Croasdale. I think he's intentionally played into the red there so as not to move the yellow, which is intelligent. You know, if you play into the yellow, you really don't know where it's going to go. Whereas if you can just move the red, at least you know where the yellow's going to end up.
What a great shot that is. It's just played to perfection.
Phenomenal from Andy Croasdale. He brings up a 2-frame lead. And it's a flying start from Crowe.
Well, the way then 2 frames are gone, Dan, you know, this is probably a bit of a surprise because Andy Blurton has had the best chances in both of them frames and hasn't took any of them.
Frame 3. Andy Blurton to break, trailing 2 frames to 0. Time running.
Big break from Andy Blurton. And not for the first time in this match. I think he'll be pleased with the outcome after the break.
Yeah, he will. I mean,
with you,
if that yellow goes in that top right-hand corner, he's got another relatively good chance here again.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with what you were saying after that previous frame. I think Andy Blurton's had the lion's share of the first chances, and they've been good chances as well. He hasn't really had any huge amounts of work to do. Well, it doesn't look to me like that yellow you were talking about does go, but he's on it if it does. It's very tight. Ooh.
He's played that well, so it's just about, you know, this is probably the biggest shot of the frame now. He needs to get a frame on the board quickly, otherwise he'll be out of this match.
This is a prime example of, I think, how most of the professionals and the top players take on their finishes. He's trying to clear one half of the table first and then, you know, one transitional shot between halves of the table and get down the other end. He's had to play that with loads of reverse side though. He was off angle, but he's played it nicely. Still in good position.
So really it looks like he's got like 2 drop-ins, because if that yellow just go past that black into the right middle, then this is another great opportunity for Andrew.
I think if he doesn't take this chance,
10
then
seconds.
he'll be in real trouble, actually. He's got to take this. Can't afford to go 3-0 down and give up 3 great chances.
That looks good. I'm expecting him to get a frame on the ball now, definitely.
Frame.
In goes the simple black, and a puff of the cheeks for the man they call Ivan Drago. He will be pleased to get himself off the mark at the 3rd time of asking, but it's only 2-1. Don't think Andy Croasdale will be too fazed by that. He hasn't had a shot in that frame, so he knows that so far he's taken every chance he has. So far Andy Croasdale has played flawless pool, and if he can continue to do that, there won't be any way to stop him.
Frame 4. Andy Croasdale to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Went in off on his first break, of course. Be hoping for a better result from this one. Well, the cue ball was close to the centre pocket, but there wasn't much else close to any pockets. It's going to be another first chance for Andy Blurton. How do you see the lay of the land with this one, Mark?
Well, I mean, the break's sort of very important in this sort of game, and you know, Andy's had the first opportunity in every frame, really, you know, because the break isn't working for Crowe. So he needs to get that working quickly, because if Andy can really settle in this match, he'll become very dangerous as the match goes on.
Well, if that first frame on the board has settled Andy Blurton down, then yeah, Crowe could be in for a long game unless he finds his break. I often think it's impossible almost to win certainly more than one game if your break's not working. You can get away with the odd one, but no one, I don't think anyone's ever won a major title on the IPA when they've been breaking badly. It is that important.
No, definitely not. And I think with the conditions of the cloth, the board, you know, I think it makes the game more exciting, and the break becomes a bit easier, but it's very important to the player's ability as well. So, you know, we'll see a lot of different sort of breaks played by the players, and hopefully it'll be quite successful throughout.
Andy Blurton very methodical, just studying the table, working at his pattern.
10 seconds.
He will have had an idea in his head from the word go, almost immediately after Andy Croasdale sat in his seat.
Yep. So
that's not ideal.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a wrong angle on this. It's just about, and you can just tell with a bit of the body language that he's just overrun that a touch. So it's all depending on what he can do now to either get past them 2 yellow blockers.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I think his problems
please.
here are twofold. Not only has he got slightly the wrong angle, because he's bridging over the yellow, he can't do a lot with the cue ball either. So this will just depend whether he thinks he can slide past those 2 yellows, maybe top it through.
Yeah.
Tough shot.
He's gone for the corner. It's close. It's in. Great shot.
My word. That's a brilliant recovery shot from Andy Blurton. Superb pot. He's still not quite out of the woods though, and this is absolutely symptomatic of his match so far. Just hasn't got that cue ball under control yet. Watch the cue ball. Oh, watch the red as well. Another chance goes begging for Ivan Drago. It will be Andy Croasdale with another opportunity, and an opportunity to extend his lead once again to 2 frames. Can't see any obvious problems with this finish, Mark.
No, I mean, the trickiest one is probably the yellow just below the middle bag, the right middle bag. But even that's not that tricky. So it's just about cue ball control.
Now for me, Andy played that one as a little bit of a shot to nothing, but in doing so, he's put himself out of position. I think he fully intended to be on this yellow that he's closest to the right centre. It hasn't worked out.
No, it didn't look like he put 100% into that pot. You know, maybe he didn't feel confident, but that's not like Andy at all.
No, for me, he was playing it as a sort of two-way shot in order to, you know, if he missed it, he was always going to leave the snooker. But I don't know. I don't necessarily like those shots. I think you can end up trying to do too much. I think if he concentrated on the pot, he was perfectly capable of getting that. And it's caused a problem for him.
It has, and you know, with these rules, Dan, you know, they've got the players. They can't just roll up to a ball. They've got to hit a cushion, and they every time.
Has he left a gap for this red? Or for this cue ball? Well, for me, Andy Croasdale has got away with one there. I think that was an error in judgment, but he didn't leave anything on for Andy Blurton. I'm not sure whether he was trying to plant there or trying to get past it. Well, that was a nice effort, and Andy Blurton is in all sorts of trouble now.
Yeah, I don't see a way out of here, you know, to try and win this frame, because he really needs this frame, because, you know, going 3-1 down is not really going to do him any favours. It's not bad.
Tell you what, he'll be pleased with that. Curry still has a little bit of insurance from the yellow over the bottom right corner, but that red looks ripe for a skill shot if Andy Blurton gets the chance. Now, can Andy snick this in? Andy Blurton, that is. Andy Croasdale's left him this.
That's not bad though, Dan, is it? You know, he'll settle for that.
Oh, he might, but for me, this is an easy skill shot first up.
Well, it wasn't that easy for me last night. Great shot, great shot.
Perfect from Andy Croasdale. And Crowe is in pole position once again. It was a lovely effort from Andy Blurton. And a bit of an error there from Crowe to even leave that shot on for me, but no one's ever missed a ball from the commentary box.
Key shot. This is the key shot.
This is still tricky though, Mark.
Yeah, it looks more tricky on what the screen that we're seeing.
Oh, he played the double. Is he going to knock the red over the bag? Wow. That's a big error from Andy Croasdale, and what a let-off that is for Andy Blurton. It looks like the man they call Drago is going to square things up at 2 apiece. For me, that was the only way that could go wrong as well. I think that's a huge error in judgment from Andy Croasdale. This black then to level the scores. And who thought we'd have been saying that just 30 seconds ago? In it goes. And we will be back for the rest of this match after this short break.
Frame 5.
Welcome back
And
to the Sporty
break.
Stuff TV
Score
Champions
side, 2
Cup.
frames all.
It's a first round match between the two Andys, Blurton and Croasdale. And we've seen a bit of a shocker from Andy Croasdale in the last frame. Looked like he was going to take a 3-1 lead, but we're at 2 apiece. How did you see that last frame, Mark Pickworth? Oh, wow.
Foul.
We can't really talk about last frames, Dan, when we've got action like this.
One visit.
They just never let us settle, do they, Mark?
They don't know.
Oh, he screwed straight in off that break. Look at that cue ball. That is a big error from Andy Blurton, and conversely from earlier, perhaps a chance for Andy Croasdale to settle down again. I don't know about you, Mark, but I imagine Andy Croasdale would have been livid with himself at the end of that last frame.
Yeah, and we saw a bit of the footage there, you know, about his sort of facial expressions, and I think a few of them did sort of tell it all, didn't it? It really did.
Now, there might be a few viewers who are not too familiar with these rules, so we should just point out that because Andy Blurton fouled on that break because he went in off, Andy Croasdale's first shot was a free shot. So, although he potted a yellow, his colours weren't decided until his visit proper started. So he potted a yellow first up just to clear a pocket for the reds, and then carried on the visit on reds.
Now that red.
Turning out to be a pretty good visit.
And looking at that red.
Is that the red in the middle of the table, Mark?
Yeah, I was just wondering whether it did go in the top left, and we can clearly see the... Well, we can. I'm not sure the viewers can, but I'm sure they will do soon.
Yeah, I should point out for viewers at home that if me and Mark talk over each other, that's because I'm commentating from, I was going to say sunny Sussex, but looking out of my window, it's pretty cloudy at the moment, whilst Mark is in the venue 300 miles away in Gateshead. So we've both got different views and different views of the action. I think I can see most of the camera angles. I don't know about you, Mark.
Yeah, I think I've got the same as you, Dan, to be honest. So I'm cheating a little bit, though. So.
Lovely finish then from Andy Croasdale. He retakes the lead. He leads by 3 frames to 2. He'll be pleased with that. That was a bit of a settler after a poor 4th frame for him.
Yeah, and really, Dan, that was really a good way of getting back after that, you know, really sort of disappointing miss last frame, you know, and he's really took advantage of Drago going through, you know, in off the break there, so he's back in front, isn't he?
He certainly is. Not only is he back in front, he's got the next break, so immediately a chance to extend that lead to 2 frames.
Yeah, and, you know, Crowe needs to get his break working here because he's had an in-off and he's had a dry break, so it's really crucial that, you know, he makes a ball here because he could really put Andy Blurton under some pressure now.
Frame 6.
Yeah, I think the in-off was a little unlucky. I think he was kicked in off.
3 frames to 2.
But the dry break is a dry break, and they happen. But the first split he got from the in-off was glorious. So he'll be looking for that kind of a break again, just keeping the cue ball on the table.
He's got a ball this time.
Well, that's the best of his 3 breaks so far. He's made a ball. Cue ball's still there. It's a chance. It's not necessarily an easy one, though. Let's have another look at that break. You can see he made good contact. There's a very nice spread of the balls.
10 seconds. Extension, please.
Looks like the yellows, to me, would probably be a slight favourite. Especially if he can open up that yellow on the cushion. But he's overdone that a little.
Yeah, it's not gone too well for him, that, but he's going straight at it again. Here we go.
Well, that was how Andy Croasdale plays. It was fast. He made his mind up very quickly and went for it almost immediately. But it was a tough shot. Do you think that's just how he plays, or do you think that shot deserved a little more respect than that, Mark?
It's just the way he plays. You know, he feels like he can pot any ball. So I think we'll see another opportunity like that, and the way that he goes about his stuff will be exactly the same. He's not going to change.
Well, Andy Blurton's missed his first shot of the visit. It was a tough cut into the centre. I thought he might have got away with that for a second, but Andy's down quickly, so clearly he didn't. That could turn out to be a very costly miss for Andy Blurton. And even worse for him, that red has ended up in a perfect position for Andy Croasdale to play that yellow on the left-hand side off it into the centre pocket. Makes that shot so much easier. Just thinking about his pattern here, I think this is the right way as well. This shot now gives him a chance to bump that other yellow out, or clear the pocket, of course.
Yeah, so you know, this shot here is going to be quite delicate. So it's all about the cue ball control. So let's just watch this. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad, but not perfect. Is he going to swing the cue ball round off 2 or 3 cushions here for this? He is. Doesn't want to end up behind that red. Or right on top of it. This is awkward now. But he puts it away with relative ease. Andy Croasdale establishes a 2-frame lead. He leads by 4 frames to 2. Welcome back to this Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup first round match between Ivan Drago, Andy Blurton and Crowe, Andy Croasdale. It's Andy Blurton to break, and he will be looking to reel in Crowe after, let's be fair, Mark Pickworth, a fairly poor performance from Blurton so far.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be too happy with it, but you know, maybe some of the conditions have caught him out. You know, I wouldn't say he's nervous because he's a very established professional player, but yeah, he'll be disappointed.
He has made a ball off the break though. He's going after this long red early. Oh, but it's hung in the jaws, and that's a gift for Crowe. Andy Blurton sits in his seat, and he will be worried. Andy Croasdale has the chance to move just 1 frame from victory, and it's been handed to him by his opponent. It's a very good chance, this, Mark. Do you think Andy Croasdale will be looking to leave the most difficult red, if you like, the one on the right-hand rail, till last, because it affords good position on the black?
It does. I mean, now with this ball, he's obviously going to the top of the table now. It's just about which ball he prefers to go for next. You know, trying to screw past that yellow would be very risky. But you know, so he should pop this out for the other ball, and that's what we've seen him do. But he's okay though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not in too bad position. I don't really like this next shot, if I'm honest. I think this is tricky. He's going to have to come across the table with the cue ball. Perhaps leave the red long up to the top right.
He's played that.
Oh, he screwed it back. Oh, that's magnificent.
Very well.
Andy Croasdale continues his fine form against Andy Blurton, and it will be Andy Croasdale's break next as well. What a match we've had. Perhaps not as tight as you first thought, Mark.
No, definitely, but you know, we've seen the chances in this match for it to be a lot closer than what it is, and Andy, that'll be going through Andy's mind right this minute, won't it?
Yeah, I think early doors, Andy Blurton had the lion's share of the chances. You know, he had the first good chance in pretty much all of the first 4 frames. You could argue that he should have been running away with it, but a couple of loose positional shots, a little bit of misfortune perhaps, and now he is staring down the barrel. Andy Croasdale just needs this one frame to take him through to the next round. Tonight, of course, at 10 p.m.
8.
And he will be facing the winner
leading 5 frames
of
to 2.
Jamie Clarke
Time
or
running.
Nathan Davies.
Foul.
Well, that's a big error on the break from Andy
Shot. What is
Croasdale.
it? Time running.
And if Andy Blurton is to mount a fight back, it has to start now.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 enough breaks that Crow has had now, and well, he can't continue to do that. You know, so Andy Blurton has really got to take his chance now.
10 seconds.
Oh no. Well, that's not as bad as it looks, because of course Andy Croasdale did foul on the break. So I'm fairly sure Andy Blurton was trying to pot that ball, but he's still got a second bite at the cherry thanks to the foul.
Ten seconds.
I've only just noticed, Mark, and just in case we don't get another chance to talk about this, all of the players have their nickname emblazoned across their shirt, but Andy Blurton doesn't have Ivan Drago. He's got the words, "He dies."
Well, that's the good thing about this competition and the shirts, you know. They got the choice of the colours and the nicknames and and they even saw the design of the shirt, which they all signed off, because we want to produce characters out of this show, so it was very important they had control of all of that.
Well, Andy needs to stop pulling his punches if he's going to stay in the competition and show us that fabulous shirt again later on tonight. I do love that. I think that's excellent.
I think there's some more fantastic ones to come through. You know, I've seen some of the nicknames, so let's just look forward to the rest of the tournament too.
Oh, Andy Blurton. Well, it may be him that's dying in this tournament, because he's left a golden opportunity for Andy Croasdale to wrap this match up. Not perfect, that first shot, Mark.
It's not, but he's still got a ball into the bottom left-hand corner. I can't see much else going for him here, so he's just got to drop this in. And then he'll probably take one to the top right-hand corner. We can pump this out to the middle. Yeah. Does that go past that black?
I was looking at that suspiciously, but he must feel that it does. He must have looked at this.
No, top right, and that's what I thought he would have played. He looks in prime position here. I just cannot see him making an error now. I really can't, but we have seen plenty of errors in this match.
Andy, for the first time in this match, just taking a little bit of extra care. I think he's so close to the winning line. And it was well worth those extra few seconds. He's finished perfect on this right hand of these two yellows up to the top left. And then it will be 2 drop-ins for the win. But
off the top cushion, just drop it up and down. And then
frame and the match.
Andy Croasdale then wins. He is the first of our winners today in this Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. He knocks out Andy Blurton by 6 frames to 2. We'll be back with some reaction after the break.
Welcome back to the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. Now, the first half has just seen Crowe beat Ivan Drago, so Crowe will be going through to play at 10 o'clock in tonight's final. But who will be joining him? Let's meet our first player.
Allow me to introduce a proud member of the Welsh national team, here with a point to prove. Explosive pull guaranteed. It's Dynamite, Nathan Davies!
Hello there, Nathan. Got to say, we love your name, Dynamite. Are you going to bring in a bit of dynamite to the table today?
Well, I hope so. It'll be nice, wouldn't it?
You look very confident. That was a nice strut down there. So have you had a bit of a practice? I think you went on the table a little bit earlier on. How did it feel?
A little bit of a game, but it's super quick, so it takes some getting used to, but should be fine.
OK, and nerve levels, if you had to give it from like a 1 to a 10, how nervous are you right now?
It's a mix-up of everything, so 5 or 6, but so many mixed emotions you don't really know.
And with you being one of the youngest in the competition, do you think that, you know, would that intimidate other people, or do you think that's an advantage, or what?
Should keep the old dogs on their toes, so see what happens.
It's going to get you in a lot of trouble, that one. Best of luck. Take a seat. OK, so we've got this cheeky one. Take it to see Dynamite is playing, but who is he going to be against? Let's meet player number 2.
Introducing the highly experienced IPA number 26. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the bays, it's the Shark, Jamie Clarke.
Hello there, Jamie, the Shark. We love that. I do think you need to be walking down with a fin on your head, or at least have Durner as you come down. Now, should I don't know, should we be as scared of you as we would be as Sharks? Are you going to really take on that table? Are you feeling aggressive? That's what I'm asking.
Give it a good go. My teeth aren't quite like a shark, but yeah. Shark can't play pool as well as what we can, so well, we'll give it a go. And
did you manage to watch any of the games yesterday, so you know how things have gone?
Yes, I watched Ross and Liam, first game up, brilliant standard. Ross thoroughly deserved to win. Didn't catch much of the second game because I was getting ready for travelling up here, but watched the final last night in my room at the hotel. Great final, and Ross was a very deserved winner.
Oh, it was brilliant. And how did it feel to win this tournament?
Oh, it'd be amazing, absolutely amazing. You know, I've got to the last 16 a few times on IPA, but you know, I'm yet to go that a little bit further, a little bit deeper. So you know, give it a go this time round, see what I can do.
Well, let's see if you get there tonight. Best of luck. Take a seat. OK, we've got our players all getting sorted now, taking their seats. So let's go to the commentary box. We have got Mark Pickworth, joined by the commentator, Dan Fairway.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Is that a new nickname for me, the commentator?
Nathan Davies to break.
That'll do for you, Dan, won't it, surely?
Time running.
I know, I'm normally called a lot worse than that.
Well, we won't
Nathan Davies then, Dynamite versus the Shark. And Nathan Davies, Mark, is your pick to win this whole match. Well, the whole day today, if you like, to win this and the final tonight.
Yeah.
Jamie Clarke will be doing everything he can to upset your apple cart.
Of course he will. Yeah, he's definitely one of my picks. You know, he's one of the most young and exciting players coming through our IPA Tour ranks. You know, he's currently on the Amateur Tour. You know, but he's had a great start to the tour, and you know, which was back in, God, March 2020. It seems like a decade ago. But he's had a great start, and you know, he's in the top 4 of them rankings. And as we know, if you finish in the top 16, you get offered to be a professional.
Well, Jamie Clarke has started us off with a bit of a shocker. He was trying to pinch that pocket, and maybe these pockets are just a little bit tighter than he expected. That's not gone well. What an opening chance this is for Dynamite. Still an open table, of course, so perfectly legal shot to play the yellow onto the red, or the red onto the yellow, I should say.
Yeah, and he should take the bottom 2 yellows first, just like you mentioned earlier in the previous game. You know, players like to go at the bottom end and then they'll come upstairs. So I wouldn't be surprised, you know, well, I say that and he's going straight against what I'm just saying. So we'll see how he goes about his work. Every player's got their own style, so it just depends on how comfortable he feels. And that white's got away from him.
Do you think he's left that yellow there because the black is in that end of the table? So he wants to work his way back up and have a nice ball to get onto the black?
Well, you know, I would have gone probably the opposite way, yeah, but then again, we're all very different. You know, the reason being I'd have gone the opposite way because the black goes, I'm pretty sure it goes to the bottom right-hand corner. Can't quite clearly see, but it looks like it does. But he's still got a chance here, so... you know, he'll still probably come out with the same result anyway.
He is making hard work of this finish, though. This isn't an ideal angle for this yellow into the right centre.
It's a delicate shot.
I half wonder whether he'd be tempted to take it as a double, but clearly not. Does the black sneak into that bottom right? I'm guessing it must, the way he's played this, but he could drag this across to the left centre. Well, he didn't have a full pocket, but he had enough of the pocket. Dynamite takes the lead. It's 1-0 to the young man from Wales. It was mentioned before this match, Mark, that Nathan is one of the youngest players in the competition. He is aged just 24. Do you think pool is a sport that's not so much a young man's game? It's my opinion that, you know, most of the world champions we've had and most of the major tournament winners tend to be in their 30s, some well into their 40s. Do you think that pool is more suited to older players? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I mean, you know, in Q Sports, I mean, you look at the World Snooker, you know, some of the older generation, that's sort of well known, you know, they're still doing very well on the tour. And maybe it just might be a Q Sport thing of where the, you know, it's tougher for the young guns to sort of take over the bays, as it so be.
Jamie Clarke then with his first break. The Shark showing us what he can do, but what he can do at the moment isn't that great. That's not a particularly good break from Jamie. Hasn't caught hold of those properly. This, to me, has all the makings of a very awkward little frame. That area down towards the bottom right, the 2 yellows and the black, that's going to make it awkward for either colour set.
Yeah, it is, but you know, it's probably the way that Jamie wanted this frame to go. You know, he's lost that first frame quite quickly, and he probably just needs to have a couple of shots, just try and settle down, because it's completely different out there. Try and get used to the conditions as well.
Yeah, Jamie said he hasn't seen past the last 16 in most of the tournaments he's played in on the IPA, but I think that's, you know, perhaps doing himself a little bit of disservice of his talent. He is a very fine player, just perhaps hasn't found his form at the major tournaments yet. Oh, where's this cue ball going? That's in off from Nathan Davies, and this could be a chance for the Shark to get himself back in the match.
1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
Looking at this table, Mark, I have to say, he's got to be looking at the yellows, hasn't he? I mean, he's got his first shot to break out whatever he wants to break, but the position of the black means for me that he's going to have to take the yellows on as the finish.
Yeah, it's a great point, Dan. You know, especially with that yellow straight over that black. You know, but it's still a tricky. You know, there's so many yellows that are close together. So it's this is again. He's just got to be very careful the way he goes about his work here.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot about how quick this cloth is and how reactive it is, and this is exactly the kind of finish where that's not the sort of cloth you really want. You know, you want the cue ball to be as controllable as possible, and you can see there, even with that shot, he's just overdone it a fraction.
Yeah, it don't look like he's settled, you know, yet. So he really needs to settle a bit more quickly than what he has done so far.
Well, we are only 1 frame in, and that is a nice shot. It gets him back into decent position. He's got to be careful with the yellow that's closest to the bottom end of the table. It's tricky to get onto because of the red that's just above it. And that's why he chose to move it, but in doing so, added a little bit of extra tariff to the shot. And he's left another chance for Dynamite Nathan Davies. Disappointment there for the Shark. But again, just a little bit of a careless positional shot from Nathan. This is trickier than he'd like. And it's caused a mistake, and that was a real reaction from Nathan Davies there. He was furious with himself. Look at him. He's a young man with a lot to prove and with a lot of ambition. I was reading through his notes before the match, and Nathan's ambition is, and I quote, to be the best. You can tell how much every single shot means to him. But it's the Shark who levels things up at 1 frame apiece. We will carry on with this match after this break.
Frame 3.
Welcome back to the Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup.
Time running.
It's the second of our first round matches of the day. It's Dynamite Nathan Davies against the Shark, Jamie Clarke. And it's Nathan to break in this first frame after that commercial break. Sorry, third frame in total. Now, I'm joined in the commentary box still by Mark Pickworth. Mark, in that previous frame, Nathan missed a presentable chance and got pretty furious with himself. Do you think he needs to watch that temperament as this match and this tournament goes on?
10 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we saw
Extension
some
call.
sort of behaviour there, which you know, it can sort of affect you. But you know, he's just got to try and be a bit calm, and that's one thing about Jamie. You know, the Shark. He will be a lot more calmer than what Nathan is. Definitely.
Well, Nathan seems to have got it out of his head straight away. That's an excellent first shot to get himself on the yellows. Yeah, for me, his reaction, I mean, it was a poor shot and he has every right to be annoyed with himself, but it was a little bit over the top for the second frame of the match.
Yeah, definitely.
Working his way through this pattern on yellows. The obvious problem being the yellow right next to the black. That's a tricky ball to land on. You could try to land on that to the right centre. Oh, but it looks like it'll go to the top left. So perhaps not such a problem after all. Is it just a little bit straight on this yellow to the top right, Mark, to get over for that?
Yeah, possibly. I think he can pinch a little bit, but
10 seconds.
it's going to be a tough shot to land on this yellow perfectly. How far is this white going to go? It's going.
Well, it looks like he's decided on the thin cut. Now, I don't think he's going to have as much control over the cue ball as he'd like from this shot. I imagine he's looking to stop the cue ball using those reds. But this can go wrong. Oh, and it has gone wrong in a horrible way. Where's that yellow, though? He's fluked it. Well, a hand up of apology from Dynamite Nathan Davies. Let's watch that fluke back. But I'll tell you what, I don't see how he's going to pot the black from here. I think it'll have to be a safety.
10 seconds.
Wow, that was some effort, Mark.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure how many shots he could have played there. You know, I think a lot of the players would have probably just tapped the black and come off the cushion. But, you know, when you've only got one ball left, you know, you do have to really try and go for it. So he probably played the right shot in the end.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's to the untrained eye, I think most people would have said, well, the safety shot is obvious. But for these players, getting out of that situation would have been really quite simple. And then Nathan would have been in more trouble every time he came to the table. So for me, when you're in that situation where your opponent's got all the balls left and they all go, as Jamie Clarke massively gets away with one, I think you just have to have a go at something. Well, Jamie wouldn't have been unhappy if he'd made the double there, but he's played it in such a way that he wasn't going to leave Nathan anything. May have heard our referee there call a total snooker. All that means is that once the cue ball hits the black, Nathan doesn't have to contact a cushion afterwards. And he's gone for the jaw shot.
One free shot, one visit.
And he got close,
Time on him.
but not close enough. Let's take another look at that one. Ooh. That would have been a contender for shot of the tournament, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of players play that shot, don't they? But it's never sort of comes off sometimes, does it? But when it does, you look really, really magnificent.
It's a great shot to show off with in the pub, that's for sure.
You've done it a few times then, Dan, have you?
Well, I've never got it right, but I've tried. What an opportunity this is for Jamie Clarke to take a 2-1 lead. He couldn't ask for a better opportunity, but I'm not convinced about his pattern here. I think getting back to the black is
10 seconds.
a little bit trickier. I'm surprised he didn't leave one of those reds at the top of the table to get onto that, because it is close to that top cushion. You want to be behind it.
Yeah, and with the scores at 1-1, you know, he's going to try and sort of push this out there because he wants to try and win this frame from here. And what a shot that is. Great sort of judgment of the cannon there.
That was expertly controlled by Jamie Clarke. But he needs another shot that's going to be expertly controlled. He's got to screw this cue ball up the table, and he wants to finish as straight as he can on that black. He'll be very pleased with that. That's another very good shot.
Frame.
Jamie Clarke then takes the lead for the first time in this match. He leads Dynamite Nathan Davies by 2 frames to 1. It's been a good start for the Shark, Mark.
Yeah, I think he'll be quite happy with that. And, you know, even if that fluke from Nathan, you know, he's sort of kept calm. You know, we're seeing now why Jamie is probably the one that's sort of more experienced in these sort of conditions.
And we can take another look at that. Great effort there from Nathan Davies to play the shot off the jaws. A very, very tough shot, but if you get it right, as Mark said, you look like a hero.
Frame 4. Jamie Clarke break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Well, Jamie Clarke's just about kept the cue ball out of that centre pocket, and he's also made a ball. So he will have first bite at the cherry in this 4th frame. And it looks a pretty good chance for me. Let's take another look at that break. Bit fortunate with the cue ball, perhaps. Cannoning off that jaw. I would have thought that was more Andy Blurton style. Ivan Drago hitting a jaw.
That one's a good one for you, Dan. It took you all afternoon to come out with that one.
I was really hoping to commentate on Blurton just to use that line, yeah. Jamie's making work of this finish, though. He's got a long shot next up, whichever ball he takes. Will he be tempted to take the one along the rail? It's a tougher shot, but if he doesn't make it, he gains control of another pocket. He is tempted. Oh, it's just held up. I thought that was gonna get sucked into that bottom left pocket for a second. Jamie Clarke takes a seat, but he's got a fair bit of control in this frame, Mark.
Yes, and you know, like the shot that you've just sort of predicted there, it was definitely the right shot to play.
10 seconds.
Of course, if he gets it, he's got a really good chance to win the frame. But you know, even now he's missed it. He's in control of the frame. But you know, with this sort of rule set, there's a chance of the skill shot. So that's what Nathan will be looking to get to. So, but let's see how he goes here.
Well, I think that was attempt number 1 at a combination shot, or the skill shot, as we often hear it called. I think Nathan was trying to clear the black pocket with that first effort. Hasn't quite managed it. Now for me here, if Nathan is going to take this finish on, and it looks like he is, then he needs to get certainly that bottom left pocket cleared now, because he wants a red to be able to get up table for the red on the top rail.
Brilliant shot.
Ooh. That red certainly thought about it, but it did drop in. Big roll of the eyes from the young Welshman, though. Didn't want to land on the cushion with the cue ball. And he's getting a little out of shape in this visit now.
Well, I think we're going to see another skill shot now. So we're going to put this in the middle, go up to the loose red on the top cushion, drop it down. Unless he gets an angle here, then he can drop to play the black into the bottom left-hand corner. But this is going to be a tough pot, being on that cushion.
Yeah, cueing off the cushion. He's got a red down the cushion. This is a horrible shot, and even if he makes it, good position is not guaranteed. Well, that's a fabulous pot. But what the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. It is an in-off for Nathan Davies. Just trying to get the cue ball down to be able to take that black into the bottom left. And it's left another glorious chance for Jamie Clarke. Bit of a rash one from him first off, but he won't mind because that was his free shot. And it's still a simple finish. Just wants to be careful here. Playing position off a ball over the pocket isn't always that simple. But he's judged that very nicely indeed. The Shark leaves himself this black for a 3-frame-to-1 lead. We'll see if he can continue with this form after the break. Welcome back to the Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. It's our second first round match of the day between Dynamite Welshman Nathan Davies and Englishman the Shark Jamie Clarke. It's Nathan to break, and what a break that is, Mark Pickworth.
Yeah, 4 reds off the break there, and wow. But you know, he needs to try and take these out now and get back into this match.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better chance. He may actually take yellow, so yeah, he's going to. That may seem counterintuitive to your average player, but arguably these players are so confident of making these pots that yellows gives him a better route around the table. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, definitely. It gives him more options because there's more balls sort of on the table. And it's just preference. I mean, some players might have took the reds, and you know, it's just different for each player.
It's one of those things, isn't it, when someone walks into the pub and you're playing pool and they say, oh, who's winning? And it's like, well, you're halfway through a frame. There's no one winning a frame. There's no such thing as being in the lead in a frame of pool. You've either won it or you haven't. Actually, often if someone pots more balls and then breaks down, they're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's not like snooker, is it, where you can accumulate points and be in control of the frame. So this has a different control of a frame. So it's, I mean, that's not the best of shot from Nathan. Has he got a plan to? Can he get through? A bit of swerve.
He's just got himself out of shape here a little bit. Slightly awkward cueing as well. Bridging at least. Nicely recovered. Good plant into that top left corner. Oh, Nathan. Well, I think that's just about come far enough, but I think his heart may have been in his mouth for a second there.
Yeah, I think he'd like to take that one again. Wouldn't he?
Well, he's taking his time over this. I think he's left this thin. He's got to be very careful with this positional shot. That red in the middle of the table probably looks twice the size it actually is to him at the moment. Wow, wasn't it thin? That was thinner than I even thought. And now Nathan's got to find a very special shot if he's going to pot this black. He's looking at going cushion first. Decided against it, decided on the safety. But how safe is it? What do you think Jamie's options here are, Mark? There's a very thin snick into the centre.
Yeah, and I think that's...
Does it go to the top left?
Well, I think the thin the thin snip into the right centre is probably the shot. But it looks like he's playing your shot, does he, down to the rail? It's going down there. I
wouldn't call it my shot, but what a shot it is. Jamie Clarke wants that cue ball to run and it hasn't. Well, it was a phenomenal pot. And I think Dynamite might find himself in trouble in a second, because I think it might be time for Jamie to lay a little snooker here.
10 seconds. Time out. You start shot clock, please. You've got 10 seconds, Jimmy.
Well, Jamie wisely choosing to get the rest rather than stretch over the table. And it's worked out very well for him. That's a great shot there from the Shark.
Yeah, and he's taken control of this frame, and this is a frame that Nathan definitely should have won. I mean, he hasn't lost it yet, but is his second favourite.
A superb escape from Nathan Davies, but it still gives up a chance. Whoa, Jamie. I think he's overscrewed that one by about half a table. Well, he's recovered with a pot, but what a horrible shot this is to take on, Mark.
Yeah, well, 3 or 4 out of 10 this is. It's a tough shot. Let's see what he's got.
Wants that cue ball to run. Well, he played it in such a way that the cue ball would run on. He didn't make the pot. This is a very, very thin snick. If Nathan chooses to cut this, I wouldn't like to bet on where the cue ball would end up.
10 seconds.
Of course, he could choose the double. He has chosen the double, and he's made it. That's a phenomenal shot from Dynamite Nathan Davies. A superb recovery. He snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in that frame. And you have to say, Jamie Clarke has done quite the opposite. What a shot that was.
Yeah, it's a great double at a great time, really, because it's a frame that sort of looked like it was going to get away from him. And he's produced a really, really good double there. Well played.
And not only a really good shot, but a really good shot that he needed as well. That's the difference between 3-2 and 4-1 down. And in a race to 6, that is an enormous difference. Jamie Clarke to break next up.
Frame 6. Jamie Clarke to break, leaving 3 frames to 2. Time running.
Not a bad break. Keeps control of the table. Take another look at that. You can see how well he hit those there, Mark. The balls really exploded out of the pack.
Yeah, they did. I mean, at first glance, it looks like he's going to take yellows, but yeah, it's just this first shot's very important. It will just depend on how he goes about.
Well, that first shot for me is excellent if he's on that yellow just above the black. He's taking a look at it, and I'm not convinced that he is.
Even if he is on it, he's got to be careful the way that he's trying to avoid reds, because there is a few reds in the way.
Well, he was on it, and he's played that shot superbly. Check this out. How's this for a skilly? This has been a really impressive visit to the table for me so far, Mark. Jamie's worked out the pattern really nicely, and this would be an excellent break and finish.
Yep, it would be.
He's just off angle on this yellow, though.
He should be okay, though. Sure, he should.
Foul. 1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
Huge mistake from the Shark, rather. Yeah, I think he was just the wrong side on that last yellow. He'd love to have just been able to drift it through, but obviously felt he had to play it with pace, and it clearly affected the shot. Don't think Jamie will be happy with himself sat in his chair. Nathan, though, was straight out of his, and he's straight into his visit. I think Jamie Clarke's got to be a little bit careful now. The last couple of frames, this one in particular, he's had a very good chance. And Jamie needs to be careful not to let that affect him.
Reset shot clock, please. We've got 20 seconds.
Nathan's off to get the rest. It's not very often that you see a rest twice in a matter of a few frames, Mark.
Depends if I'm playing. I have to use it a few times.
That's not a rest, is it? That's a step ladder.
Shot clock, please.
Right, okay, that's enough.
Well judged by Nathan Davies. Just slid the cue ball off that yellow. Had to be careful not to catch too much of that. Could have left him awkward. But it didn't. And he's got this black to level up the scores. Which he does. We go into this advert break at 3 frames apiece. Welcome back to the Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. We are watching this first round match between Nathan Davies and Jamie Clarke, and they are locked in a tense battle. It's 3-3 at the moment, and it's Nathan's break. And it's not a bad one at all. Take another look at that break. He's certainly caught hold of them. Any obvious colour choice here standing out for you, Mark?
Reds, because obviously that red blocks the yellow into the middle, so I expect him to go for reds, but he's just got that tricky red next to the yellow just above the black spot, so it's just how he sort of goes about. Well, does this yellow pass? Because if it does, it could change his option.
Well, let's find out. Not much of the pocket if it does, but he has found the very edge of the centre pocket. And now yellows are well within reach. can see there that the yellow next to the red goes comfortably. That will be Nathan's next ball. And as long as he gets good position on the remaining yellow, can't see any problems for him here at all.
Great shot.
Superb shot from Nathan Davies. Brilliantly controlled cue ball. And he's going to leave himself a simple black. And Dynamite Nathan Davies leads for the first time since the very first frame in the match. Jamie Clarke's missed a couple of chances at 3-1 and 3-2, but nothing he can do about that. Our first break dish of the match from the young Welshman. Big break coming up for Jamie Clarke, I would say, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he just lost the last 3 frames in a row, so he's going to need to sort of dig deep here. You know, he's missed a couple of balls at crucial times. You know, a bit careless with Ian off as well in the middle. You know, he needs to get back into this match now. So, and there's no time to do it. He needs to do it right now.
No time like the present for the Shark, Jamie Clarke. Our
Frame
referee
8.
is Brian Moss.
Jamie Clarke to break, trailing 4 frames to 3. Time running.
Big break for Jamie. And a big break is what he's got. But does he have a red to start him off with? I don't know about you, Mark, but that would be my colour choice if I could find a nice one to get off the mark with.
Yeah, so that'll probably that's going to change his mind, innit? So I'm expecting him to take the yellows over here.
I think the problem with yellows for me is the one on the right hand side. Down the rail, a little bit tricky to get on because of the red just above it. Whereas for me the reds are just a slightly easier pattern. But he obviously doesn't feel like he's got a starter.
No, we don't. But you know, he's got to try and get this frame, hasn't he? So you know, he's going to have to sort of go out, play all the shots, and you know, it is a crucial part of this match now. So he really needs to, I don't know, make all these really, or at least get a frame on the board.
Well, I think he's in trouble already because I'm not quite sure what he's got on from this position. He's overrun that positional shot by quite a margin. I think that was an attempt at a plant, but if anything, it's made the reds easier. Huge chance for Nathan Davies. If Nathan can just hold his nerve here, he will go 1 frame from victory. given what you've seen so far today, Mark, are you tempted to change your predictions? Because for me personally, I think the most impressive player so far by quite a distance has been Andy Croasdale.
Yeah, but, you know, we're talking about a first frame, you know, on this table, in these conditions, in these surroundings. You know, it's new for everyone. And, you know, we saw last night, you know, there was we saw a very different quality in Ross when he did sort of go out to win the actual final match. And so, you know, that could prove the same for one of these players.
Yeah, absolutely right. Either way, as long as Nathan Davies drops this black into the right centre, he will be an enormous favourite in this first round match. And he does.
Frame.
Nathan now just needs one frame to join Andy Croasdale tonight in tonight's final. Or the final of the day, if you like. It will still only be a second round match. Jamie Clarke, though, needs 3 frames on the spin if he's going to dash the dreams of the young man from Wales. Do you think it's fair to say, Mark, that this has been a slightly scrappier match than we've seen in most of the matches so far?
Yeah, we've probably seen more errors in this match. I mean, we saw, you know, a few errors from Nathan, sort of early doors. And now towards the middle of this match, you know, when Jamie was in front, and we're seeing more errors from himself. You know, and I thought he was the one that settled earlier, but it's proved it's not to be.
Nathan Davies will have a chance to keep Jamie Clarke sat down for the rest of this match then. He's made a ball off the break. It's not the worst chance, but it's certainly not simple. Although it's a lot simpler now. That's an excellent first shot. Opens up that yellow to the bottom right. And it looks to me like plain sailing from here, as long as he can keep that cue ball under control.
Ten seconds. Extension, please.
I think in that previous shot, Nathan was eyeing up the yellow to the bottom right. It looks like he's eyeing it up again now, but I think that's his one worry, because that's a difficult ball to land nicely on because of the red to the left of it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's got an option of it now, but will he come down the table? I don't think so. You know, it could be his last ball, and then he'll just play up for the black in the bottom left-hand corner. So he should take these 2 at the top first.
Yeah, I think the reason he was so intently looking at that ball for the last couple of shots was because he doesn't really want to leave it as his last ball. He'd like to get rid of that earlier, but I'm not convinced he's going to have a choice. Well, for me, he's a little bit out of shape here. I think he's got the wrong angle on either of these balls to guarantee perfect position on the next one.
Yeah, this is a tricky shot that he needs to control very well. So he'll just sort of drop it in, bounce it off the cushion. And it's all about the angle now, so can he miss the red?
Well, first things first is to make sure of the pot, because he'd be unlucky to have absolutely no shot on the black. You know, if he clips the red, he could be going down and leaving it long. Well, he got in behind it, and that's probably the worst possible result.
Wow, what's he looking at here? Is he looking at the cut back? Does that cut pass through them two reds, Dan? It looks mighty tight.
I'm not convinced that it does. The treble, perhaps? Or is it the double? Double through the other two reds. He's gone for the double, and he's got nowhere near it. It's a lifeline for the Shark. Jamie Clarke up out of his seat. He'll be delighted just to be back at the table, but you can see Nathan's reaction there. He is furious with himself.
10 seconds.
Now that is an interesting shot from Jamie Clarke.
Total snooker.
And I just wonder, Mark, whether there's a little bit of mind games in that one. I wonder if Jamie's seen Nathan's reaction and sort of wants him to feel that pain a little bit more.
Foul.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, why shouldn't you make you feel that pain? You know,
Time running.
really, Jamie shouldn't even have been back to the table. You know, he should have been doing the end of match sort of routine and walking off. But he's still at the table and he's still in this match.
I mean, you could argue that the safety shot was the right shot anyway. Plenty would. But for me, there was just a little bit more to it than that. I think there was a little bit of psychological warfare from Jamie Clarke. Whatever it was, it's worked for him. Jamie Clarke is going to have this black along the rail to bring the scores back to 5-4 and send Welsh Hearts racing.
Frame.
He does so. It's 5-4. We'll be back after this break.
Frame 10.
Welcome back to the Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. And if you're just joining us, what a time you have chosen. We are in for a nail-biting last couple of frames here between Nathan Davies and Jamie Clarke. Jamie looked dead and buried in the last frame, but a mistake from Nathan let him back in. I'm still joined in the commentary box by Mark Pickworth. That'll be a big hurdle for Nathan to overcome.
Yeah, it will be, but God, we're in for an absolute cracker towards the end of this match now, aren't we? You know, we could have all the twists and the turns, so take a seat, watch this action.
Now, Jamie's made a ball off the break, taking the yellow along the rail first up. There's problems on this table, though. This isn't a simple finish. He's got the yellow in the top half of the table on the right-hand side that he may try and break out now. But actually, he's decided to let Nathan have a go at the table. I don't think that's a bad ploy from Jamie, Mark.
No, it isn't, and I'm not surprised by that shot at all. He's really going to test Nathan's sort of patience here and just see, because, you know, we've seen in this match that Nathan does like to go out for his shots. So let's see how he copes with this different style.
Well, so far so good. Nathan not falling for the trap laid by Jamie. Just a little containing safety. But this, for me, is all going to be about who can hold their nerve now. Will Jamie's experience see him in good stead? I think the yellows of Jamie Clarke have the edge in this tactical battle, Mark. Just at the moment, at least.
Yeah, it's going to take a few shots just to see how this sort of frame develops. So I don't think we're going to see too much sort of attacking sort of play, you know, by anyone just quite yet.
Of course, the pressure is still on Jamie a little more than Nathan. Nathan being just the one frame away from the finishing line.
Yep, I agree with that. But, you know, the Shark is in control of this frame. And he'll know that. And I think so will Nathan. So this is going to be an interesting frame now. And this could be like the turnout to see who wins this match.
Well, all the balls down this end of the table have been separated by colour. Excellent shot from Nathan. I think he's left a gap though. I think the cue ball will sneak through between those two reds. And for me, Nathan now is going to have to work really hard if he's going to keep Jamie from going for the finish. He may choose to go for it himself from this position. Just lays the snooker.
Total snooker.
I mean, it's an easy snooker to get out of, so I'm not expecting him to miss this one.
No, and if he gets out and runs into the bottom of those two yellows...
Foul.
Wow.
One shot, one visit. Time running.
Well, huge error from Jamie Clarke. He slid off the new cushion and he slid past both of those yellows. He was trying to be precise there. He wanted to hit the bottom of those two full ball because it would have put Nathan back in a snooker. Would have
10 seconds.
meant that Jamie
Extension, please.
almost certainly would have had some kind of a chance at his next visit.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, it's pretty careless that there's two balls together. You know, he's only got to hit him. You know, he's got that top corner sort of tied up. So that's a surprise. And, you know, now he's going to lose control of this table. So he's going to go second favourite now.
Yeah, he's going to lose control, that's for sure. Do you think Nathan Davies will be taking the finish on from here? He does still have a problem ball next to the black.
I think we'll see him go for this now. So this is the shot.
It's worked out okay, but I wouldn't say it's ideal yet. He has nudged the red at the bottom of the table into a position where it will clearly pot, but it's not that easy to land on, Mark.
No, and I think, you know, when you only need one frame, you'd like them a little bit easier than this, and I expect the nerves to be jangling, so let's just see how he can handle this finish now.
Well, he's going to need a nice angle on this penultimate red after this shot to get himself down the table. That's not the angle he was looking for. A little swipe of the table in frustration from Dynamite Nathan Davies. Well, if he doesn't finish these off, I think he might explode, Mark.
Yeah.
That's not going to help his mood either.
No, and you know what Jamie's going to play next year, so, you know, he's just going to really just keep piling on the pressure. So, you know, Nathan's going to be up against it now, and look how close that red was to going in there.
Well, Jamie's going to surprise us all. I was fully expecting the safety shot, but Jamie didn't fancy that. And I'm a little surprised. I know it would have been an easy escape, but Nathan still would have been huge second favourite. Jamie's not in great shape now.
No, on this stage of the match, you know, I just thought he would have just sort of tried to tidy it up, just take your time. You know, it was, like you say, he was always going to get out of it, but, you know, the pressure was on. But this, what a great containing shot this is.
Well, it is a great containing shot, but he has left an edge on that red to the centre. And if I'm Nathan Davies, I'm pretty much hitting this as hard as I can just to try and make something happen. The cue ball could potentially go up and down the table a couple of times and he could land on that red. Well, he's definitely not on it. Perhaps the back double long. Perhaps the back treble. Look, you can see him lining it up. He's got a big pocket with that yellow there. Hold on to your hats, folks. This could be a hell of a shot. Not quite.
Now, Jamie Clarke, what can you do here? Ooh, that's only just wiped its feet.
Yeah, not quite the heart of the pocket, that one. I think there's nerves out there for both players, Mark.
Yeah, and that's one thing about that arena, you know, it's deadly silent. So there's a different atmosphere that what they're not used to. So it looks like he's left this red.
He has. Now, he might be saved here if he's left that dead straight, because the black won't go to the bottom left. Well, it's a lovely pot from Nathan Davies, beautifully cued, but he's going to have to double this black, I think. And it's not there. Another lifeline for Jamie Clarke. This time, you feel he's got to take it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get any more chances after this one. So, you know, he's going to roll this in and roll the one in the top left with hopefully an easy black afterwards. So he's got to hold himself together here. This is a bit tougher than he wanted, but, you know, this is the big shot of the frame.
This is where nerves come into play. How are your nerves, Jamie Clarke? They're not there, and the yellow isn't there. And that has thrown away this frame and this match. Nathan Davies is going to take it. He's going to take it by 6 frames to 4. We will be back with after the break.
Welcome back to day 2 of the 2021 Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup. I've got Mark Pickford with me right now. What a nail-biting game that was. I can't believe it. Where's your head with that? Because that was, for me, I don't know about you at home watching that.
Well, you know, I had to commentate on that. You know, that had thrills and spills. You know, it's gone one way. You know, Jamie was in front and all of a sudden he was behind. And then we've had that final finish there. You know, it could have gone anyway. So it was really.
It was a truly magnificent game. I've got to welcome first up Jamie the Shark. Come and join us, please. Well, great to see it. Now, how was the game for you? Because it had us watching, I'm sure everyone at home, we were on the edge of our seats right the way through. How did you feel?
I felt all right out there. I struggled to get to grips with the table a little bit. Bit of cue ball control let me down. I think in the 5th frame, 3-1 up. A long straight red, just wanted to screw back for a straight red in the middle, leave an easy black down cushion. it just took off. I just got into it a little bit too much, and it just catches you out. And that was a bit of a turning point, actually. I still took the black on, left it fairly difficult for me. I thought I'd play it with a little bit more pace than just dropping it in, just as an element of safety. But he pulled out a great double, and then that seemed to turn the momentum a little bit, and he went 5-3 up. He really got going in the middle of the match. He got hold of his cue ball, and he was potting really well. And he played really well, deserved to win. It was a good match to be involved in.
What were your thoughts, Mark? Because I know when you came out of the commentary box, he was virtually wiping his brow from the end of that one. We were all just like, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, it had everything, didn't it, really? So, you know, like you've already mentioned, you know, you've gone 3-1 up and the next minute you're 5-3 down. You know, at sort of what point did you think that you could get in that match? Because obviously, you know, there weren't things sort of going for you at all.
Yeah, I mentioned in fifth frame at 3-1 up. Missed that black, but then at next frame I were on a break dish. And I've just made it a shot into the middle and got it off. And that changed. And at 5-3, I thought, he's playing well now. I'm going to struggle to get back into this. I needed to make a mistake. Luckily, I ran out of position with the black, I think. Snookered him, cleared up. And then my next break, it went messy. So we had a bit of a tactical battle, and he did well. Went to go out snooker in that frame. It just slid off at cushion ever so slightly. Gave an advantage. I still had chances after that, but... yeah, I just needed a chance to get into it. I got one, but unfortunately I couldn't take it.
It was an absolutely phenomenal game, though. Thank you so much. And sorry about that. And then, obviously, we're going to have to meet now, if you'd like to come in through.
Yes.
Nathan Davies, Dynamite Davies, with the biggest smile on your face ever. Well, I don't think I need to ask you how you feel, because it was all over your face. We saw it all the way through. Oh. Where's your head at now? Because I
don't know where it is. I think I left it out there. But... the table was so difficult to adjust to, and I don't think I ever settled at all with the way that the playing conditions. And obviously I've never played on a table like that in my life, and just couldn't settle down at all. But obviously got over the line in the end. But well, it's just nice to be out here.
You look like you're shaking, just like, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, some of the thoughts that, you know, when I was watching you sort of play and that, and, you know, some of the shots that went against you, you know, you showed your frustration in the chair. You know, do you think your opponent sort of saw some of that and the way that he played some of his shots? Yeah,
it was just the fact that I couldn't get the grips with the cue ball, and, like, it was all flustering in my head then, and trying to understand why I couldn't get used to it. And I hit a little patch in the match, middle of the match, where I felt okay, and then just started to slip up. The cushions are really slidey. The bed of the table is beautiful, but this cushion, genuinely, hopefully second game might be better now. But it's just nice to get a win, not a loss. So.
And then obviously you'll be playing tonight at 10 o'clock, so you're going to play a bit differently now, or maybe hold back some of the emotion?
Yeah, try to, yeah. I didn't want to show emotion, but got a bit... up in my first time on TV and all that, so a bit flustered, but over the line now, so hopefully better off next time.
Right.
You said flustered, you know, did you feel a few nerves out there as well with the new surrounding?
It wasn't nerves wasn't a massive problem, to be honest. It was more of the just not being able to settle in on the table. The nerves didn't feel out. I was quite surprised actually how more calm I was. I thought I'd be more nervous than what I was, but Mike didn't look like it, but I didn't feel that.
Well, will you be nervous to play the gentleman at 10 o'clock tonight? If you'd like to, we're going to bring Crowe on, just say quick.
You just have to...
Oh, we'll have to social distance. You can pop off just for 2 seconds. I know we've only got just a couple of seconds with you. Firstly, we haven't had a chance to say congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling about the game tonight?
Yeah, looking forward to it. If I can produce the same, I fancy my chances. And yeah, looking forward to it.
You seem very confident throughout, well, since you've been here today. How did you find the game?
Today, yeah, it was... I'd like to improve my break, but apart from that, yeah, I pretty much didn't miss I think I missed one double. Apart from that, everything else went in. So, yeah, more of the same and I'll be happy.
Yeah? What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned your break there. You went off twice, didn't you? So, which, you know, you might remember.
It's always been a problem, the break.
Okay, of course. But, you know, your persona around the table, you know, you look very confident, very fluent, which is the way that I explained that the sort of player he was. So, is that what we're going to see again tonight?
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. Like I said, just improve the break, I'll be happy. And the rest will take care of itself.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'll let you take a little rest and get ready for tonight. Well... I'm already tired, I think, after what's gone on.
Well, I'm going to sleep tonight after that.
I know. I think you've earned your money today.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the commentary. So, obviously, we have got Crowe versus Dynamite this evening, live 10 o'clock. You've got to make sure you're joining us. What are your thoughts? Where do you think we're going to go with this? Who do you
Well,
think's
I've already
gonna
made
win?
my predictions. I'm going to have to stick with him. I'm going to go for Nathan tonight. But the way Crowe's got, we're going to have a fantastic match.
Oh, it's going to be amazing, isn't it? Yeah. And do you think a lot? Obviously, the thing that I noticed today is the emotion. You know, when you're playing, some of the players completely hold it back and are very stoic, and others aren't. Do you think some people use it as a kind of technique to kind of push people in the other direction, so they pretend that they're stressed when they're not, and vice versa?
Correct. Yeah, and it's a good way. You know, try not show your emotion sometimes. You know, we've seen that from Nathan. He does show his emotion on the camera, and I think our cameraman was on to him and just show the audience that as well. So I'm sure we'll see plenty more as the weeks and this match tonight goes on.
Well, I think I don't know about viewers at home, but when you're watching it, I do quite like seeing that. I do quite like seeing the emotion. So if you put your predictions out already, so who is going to win tonight? So let's see if you're right or wrong.
Nathan Davies.
Okay, he said it now. You've said it. If you're wrong, you're going to be very, very embarrassed.
Okay.
And so we'll just see now. So, yeah, so it was absolutely phenomenal today. What is the standout of all the games we've seen today? Has there been a standout moment for you, like a standout shot that you've thought, wow, we're going to try and copy that a bit later on, maybe?
I mean, we've seen plenty of skill shots today. We've seen plenty of doubles today. You know, there has been one or two really fantastic shots. Nothing to really single out. You know, some of the better shots has probably come in the first game. You know, the better clearances, it's been a lot more smoother. But, you know, I think we've got plenty of room for improvement, and we'll probably see it tonight.
I cannot wait to see it tonight. Make sure you join us tonight from 10 o'clock. It is going to be amazing. We have got, well, I'm tired even just thinking about it already. We've got Dynamite versus Crowe. I have no way how it's, well, I don't know how it's going to go. You think you know how it's going to go. But tonight from 10 o'clock on Sporty Stuff TV, make sure you are joining us for that, because it is going to be phenomenal. I think it is anyway.
It certainly is, definitely.
Thanks very much.